So far we have discussed about two topics. One is memorandum of association and next one is name class. The third one is exemptions to the doctrine of ultra vires. Let me explain you what are the exemptions to the doctrine of ultra vires. Simply say as an act which is intra vires the company but outside the authority of the directors may be ratified by the shareholders in proper form. And the second thing is, if the company has acquired any property through an investment which is ultra vires, the company rights over such a property shall take to be secured. Understood? See, next, the third exemption is, if an act of the company is ultra vires, the articles of association of the company can alter its articles in order to validate date. Understood? Thank you. So far we have discussed about the memorandum of association of the company. Next topic is name class, which is one of the content of memorandum of association. The first class is name class. Let me explain you about the name class. See, simply say as, in memorandum of association of a company shall state the name of the company with the last word limited in case of public limited or else private limited in case of a private limited company. The company is free to choose any name, but it shall not be undesirable name or resemble the name of any other registration company. Either it may be a public or it may be a private. Thank you. Good morning, students. Today we are discuss about those topics. First we will discuss about the meaning of memorandum of association. Let me explain you the meaning of memorandum of association. See, listen. The memorandum of association is a fundamental document of a company, and this is one of the important document to be submitted at the time of registration of the company. And also this document that governs the relationship between the company and also the outsider. The memorandum of association of a company is often simply called as a memorandum, and also it defines the relations of the company with the rights of the memorandum of the company interest, and it's established the relationship of the company and also members. Understood? Thank you. Today we will discuss about directors of a company. First we discuss about what are the liabilities of members. In this there are 6 types of liabilities. First of all, I would like to say who is called as member. The simply say as the member is nothing but directors, which refers directors. Basically, the directors act within the scope of the authority and what the company law has been allotted there. He must show their best interest of the company and he is not personally liable for the company losses. In certain cases, they will be liable for 6 cases. One is liability as shareholder, liability to the company, liability to the third party, liability for breach of statutory duties, liability for acts of co-directors. Last one is criminal liability. The director to pay call money or to pay the due amount of the shares is responsible person. Thank you. Today we discussed about memorandum of association. First we discussed about introduction of memorandum of associations. It is a main document which is submitted to the register office under section 1956. There are six contents of memorandum of association. First, we discussed about name class. A company can free to choose any types of name, but it should be mentioned either it may be a public or it may be a private limited. Next, second one is registration class. The second, under registration class, this concern where it is located, that address will be mentioned in the registration class. And third one is object class. Under object class, there are two types of objects. Main object. Under main object, the company to the mention or person on its incorporation, and other objects, the subclass will cover any objects which are not included in main class. Fourth one is liability class. Under limited by shares, the member is limited to the nominal value on which the shares held by him. Limited by guarantee, it undertakes to contribute the assets of the company in the event of winding up of the company. And fifth one is capital class. You know that in public limited company, the capital should not exceed 5 lakhs, but in case of private limited company, the capital should not less than 1 lakh. At last, association class. Under association class, the signature at the end of the memorandum or desire of forming themselves into association pursuance of the memorandum. Thank you, students. Thank you very much. The next question is, explain the role played by a director as trustee. See, listen. In the eyes of law, the company is an artificial person. It does not have any existence as such. Simply say as it acts through a human agency called as directors. See, the directors have been described as trustee. They are described as trustee. The directors perform their duties and positions in relation to the company smoothly. And also, the directors of a company or trustee apply their powers, funds to the company. There are two types role played by a director. One is directors are trustee of the company, money and property, and another one is director as trustee in respect of powers entrusted to them. Along this, first one is, which is nothing but deal with capital under their control as trust, not to pay any secret profit. And second one is in respect of powers entrusted to them, which is nothing but the power to make a call or the power of receiving payment of calls in advance, the power of applying funds of the company, the power of forfeiting shares. Thank you. Second question is lifting or piercing of corporate veil. See, first I will explain you the meaning about lifting or piercing of corporate veil. See, lifting or piercing of corporate veil is the legal decisions to treat the rights or duties of your corporation as the rights or liabilities of shareholders and also the members. And also, this veil has been taken as weapon by some for protecting them from their fraudulent activities as improper contact. Understood? See, there are two types of lifting of corporate veil. First one is protection of revenue, and second thing is prevention of fraud. First one, let me explain you. See, protection of revenue is nothing but at times tax legislation warrant the lifting of the corporate veil. The tax planning is considered legitimate provided it is within the framework of the according to Company Act 1956. Understood? And second one is prevention of fraud. The court shall purse the corporate veil and it feels that fraud or could not be behind the veil. The court will not allow the principles to be used as engine of fraud. Okay students, thank you.